Good afternoon, everyone. I hope everyone's getting ready for the nice 4th of July weekend. Hopefully the weather will be nice. This is Cynthia Guasder coming to you live from the Hageman Memorial Library. Today I would like to go over some new books that we have for July, so that you can borrow at the library. We will be closed tomorrow, Thursday, July 4th, but we will be back on Friday from 10 to 5. So please come and visit us and check out some of these great books. So I'm going to go over some new fiction with you today. So without further ado, okay, new and featured fiction for July 2024. So the first book I'd like to talk to you about is called When in Rome by Sarah Adams. When Amelia Rose, known as Ray Rose to her adoring fans, is burned out from years of maintaining her princess of pop image, inspired by her favorite Audrey Hepburn film, Roman Holiday, she drives off in the middle of the night for a break in Rome, Kentucky, that is. When Noah Walker finds Amelia on his front lawn in her broken down car, he makes it clear he doesn't have the time or patience for celebrity problems. He's too busy running the pie shop his grandmother left him and reminding his nosy but lovable neighbors to mind their own darn business. Despite his better judgment, he lets her stay in his guest room, but only until her car is fixed, and then she's on her own. Then Noah starts to see a different side of Ray Rose. She's Amelia, kind hearted and goofy, yet lonely from years in the public eye. He can't help but get close to her. Soon she'll have to return to her glamorous life on tour. But until then, Noah will show Amelia all the charming small town experiences she's been missing, and she'll help him open his heart to more. Amelia can't resist falling for the cozy town and her grumpy tour guide, but even Audrey had to leave Rome eventually. And that's called When in Rome by Sarah Adams. The next book is called Mistakes We Never Made by Hannah Brown. Emma Townsend can sum up her situationship with hot as hell romantic red flag Finn Hughes in one word: almost. They almost dated in high school. They almost hooked up after college. They almost took things too far one magical night. Their whole story is one series of almosts and nearlies, and now they just kind of can't stand each other, like at all. But this weekend, one of their mutuals is getting married, and Emma and Finn will have to pretend they don't remember how disastrous it was the last time they were in a room together. Emma's doing a stellar job of playing it cool until the bride goes missing. Now, with 2 days before the wedding, Emma and Finn are hitting the road in a sweet vintage sports car in hopes of salvaging someone else's happily ever after. Yet, somewhere between Emma's breakfast burrito throwdown, a high stakes kayak chase, it can happen, and an outrageous Vegas detour, these sworn enemies are crossing more than just state lines. As old feelings spark once more, Emma begins to question whether risking your heart is ever really a mistake. That's called Mistakes We Never Made by Hannah Brown. The next book is called Just for the Summer by Abby Jimenez. Justin is a curse, and thanks to a Reddit thread, it's now all over the internet. Every woman he dates goes on to find their soulmate the second they break up. When a woman slides into his DMs with the same problem, they come up with a plan. They'll date each other and break up. Their curses will cancel each other's out, and they'll both go on to find the love of their lives. It's a bonkers idea, and it just might work. Emma hadn't planned that her next assignment as a traveling nurse would be in Minnesota, but she and her best friend agree that dating Justin is too good of an opportunity to pass up, especially when they get to rent an adorable cottage on a private island on Lake Minnetonka. It's supposed to be a quick fling, just for the summer. But when Emma's toxic mother shows up and Justin has to assume guardianship of his three siblings, they're suddenly navigating a lot more than they expected, including catching real feelings for each other. What if this time fate has actually brought the perfect pair together? That's called Just for the Summer by Abby Jimenez. The next book is called The Shop on Royal Street by Karen White. After a difficult detour on her road to adulthood, Nola Trenholm is looking to begin anew in New Orleans. And what better way to start her future than with her first house? But the historic fixer-upper she buys comes with even more work than she anticipated when the house's previous occupants don't seem to be ready to depart. Although she can't communicate with ghosts like her stepmother can, luckily Nola knows someone in New Orleans who is able to, even if he's the last person on earth she wants anything to do with ever again. Bo Ryan comes with his own dark past, a past that involves the disappearance of his sister and parents during Hurricane Katrina, and he's connected to the unsolved murder of a woman who once lived in the old Creole cottage Nola is determined to make her own, whether or not the resident restless spirits agree or not. That's called The Shop on Royal Street by Karen White. The next book is called Lovers and Liars, and that's by Amanda Eyre Ward. Once upon a time, the Peacock sisters were little girls who combed each other's tangled hair, but decades of secrets have led them to separate lives, and to telling lies to themselves and to one another. Sylvie is getting married again, a librarian and widow who soothes her grief by escaping into books and shelving them perfectly. Sylvie has caught the attention of an unlikely match, Simon Rampling, a mysterious wealthy man from northern England. Sylvie allows herself to imagine a life beside him, one filled with the written word, kindness, and companionship. She's ready to love again, or is she? Cleo is the golden child, a successful criminal defense lawyer with the perfect boyfriend. She is immediately suspicious of Simon. Is he really who he says he is? Cleo heads to Mumberton Castle with a case of investigative files, telling herself she will expose Simon and save her sister from more heartbreak. But who is she really trying to save? Emma is a living Emma is living a lie. She can't afford this fancy trip, and she definitely can't tell her husband and sons why. She once dreamed of a line of her own perfumes. Fragrances allowed her to speak in silence. Now now that tendency for silence only worsens her situation. Will she emerge with her dignity and family intact? Set over a spectacularly dramatic weekend in the grand halls of a sprawling castle estate amid floor to ceiling libraries, fal- falconry lessons, and medieval meals, Love and Liars is the unforgettable story of a family's ability. The, Lovers and Liars is the unforgettable story of a family's ability to forgive and to find joy in one another once again. That is called Lovers and Liars, and it's by Amanda Eyre Ward. Okay. And the next book I'd like to talk to you about is called Every Time We Say Goodbye by Natalie Jenner. In 1955, Vivian Lowry is facing the greatest challenge of her life. Her latest play, the only female authored play on the London stage that season, has opened in the West End to rapturous applause from the audience. The reviewers, however, are not as impressed as the playgoers, and their savage notices not only shut down the play, but ruin Lowry's last chance for a dramatic career. With her future in London not looking bright, at the suggestion of her friend Peggy Guggenheim, Vivian takes a job takes a job in as a script doctor on a major film shooting in Rome's Cinecittà Studios. There, she finds a vibrant movie making scene. There, she finds a vibrant movie making scene filled with rising stars, acclaimed directors, and famous actors in a country that is torn between its past and its potentially bright future, between the liberation of the post-war cinema and the restrictions of the church that permeates the very soul of Italy. As Vivian tries to forge a new future for herself, she also must face the long buried truth of the recent World War and the mystery of what really happened to her deceased fiance. Every Time We Say Goodbye is a brilliant exploration of trauma and tragedy, hope and renewal. That's called Every Time We Say Goodbye by Natalie Jenner. The next book is called This Strange Eventful History, and it's by Claire Massoud. Over 7 decades, from 1940 to 2010, the Cesars live in an itinerant state separated in the chaos of World War II, running from a complicated colonial homeland, and after Algerian independence, without a homeland at all. This strange, eventful history, told with historical sweep, is above all a family story of patriarch Gaston and his wife Lucienne, whose myth of perfect love sustains them and stifles their children, of Franco and Denise, devoted siblings connected by their family strangeness, of Franco's union with Barbara, a woman so culturally different they can barely comprehend one another, of Chloe, the result of that union, who believes that telling these buried stories will bring them all peace. Inspired in part by long ago stories from her own family's history, Claire Massoud animates her characters' rich interior lives amid the social and political upheaval of the recent past. As profoundly intimate as it is expansive, this strange, eventful history is a tour de force, one of those rare novels that a reader doesn't merely read, but lives through with the characters. And that's called This Strange, Eventful History by Claire Massoud. And that's all for our new fiction book talk for today. I hope you all have a wonderful 4th of July. Thanks for tuning in. Please consider following us on social media for more of our library goodness and for more information on new materials. We're on Facebook and on X with the handle at Hageman Library. We're on Instagram and Threads at Hageman_East Haven. So to check out these and other titles, visit us in person or go to our website, which is hagemanlibrary.org. We will be closed on Thursday, July 4th, in honor of Independence Day. I hope you all have a wonderful 4th of July. And we will be back on Friday. We'll be back on Friday the 5th, and we'll be open from 10 to 5. So I hope you'll visit us and get to browse our new books for these books, as well as other great novels that we have available. So thank you very much for joining me today, and I hope you have a great rest of the day. Thanks so much. We'll see you next month.